manifestation is real, but it doesn't happen unless you put yourself in position for it to hatch and stuff like that. But also, I heard a really good quote, and it's like, you get luck about 3 times in your life. You get some kind of crazy luck or opportunity, only a handful of times, and you never know when it's gonna happen, So yeah, definitely, if I wouldn't trip too much about it, and
don't trip.
This is, outside of music and stuff like that, like, do what you want to do, and even if like you're struggling for a little bit, if you're putting that work in to something that you really give a shit about and you're good at it, you're going to make it somehow benefit you and you'll be able to live off it. I think anybody can do that about anything. So, yeah.
That's your Italian. No, I'm pretty sure
it was like the Italian bro.
When your Italian bro walks in.
Yeah. The caption was like, can't take any opportunity not to dress well. Or got to take all the opportunities to dress good.
Your hedge fund, bro.
It was goofy.
VC, bro.
Hey, do you like the fact that we don't have headphones this time?
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, it's a different vibe, but I feel like it gives it more of like a show kind of vibe rather than like a, straight up podcast.
Yeah. Feels like
which is good.
It's a nice little conversation.
Exactly.
I want to make this into a TV show where it's like we have a cool intro of Dylan and I bawling out, and then it'll be like we have doing something fun with the guests, like playing like mini golf or eating a meal with the guest, and then it like transitions more into like a walking into like the actual pod, and then we're like, so it's like maybe an hour-long episode, but it's kind of more broken up to where it makes it more stimulating for people. So any ideas y'all have where we can make this these pods more stimulating for people's short attention spans? Because I mean, I know mine's pretty short too, so I'm not judging. I just know how the world is now. But
y'all gotta be okay with getting cooked, like whatever mini games y'all are playing.
What do you mean? You're getting cooked, bro.
Play a Pong game mid podcast.
Oh my god!
Just like start throwing in Henry's double cup over there. Hop into
let's get it going.
Get
it going. What's up, guys? Welcome back to What's Next Huntsville. We have got another exciting guest today, Henri. We were just reflecting on how he was actually our first guest on season 1 and the second guest too, which is pretty funny. But so much has happened in the last like 2 years in, all of our lives. And right now, what we're doing right now is an example of that progress. And super excited to hear about everything, all the progress you've been going through. And the thing that we spoke about a lot last time was kind of like the recording process and the writing process. Could you quickly like update us on like things that you've been working on? Do you have a new project in the mix?
Yeah. So, I'd also like, I'd love to, maybe give some game, maybe, I go on tangents and stuff like that, but maybe at the end of this question or maybe later on, just kind of, I don't mind giving out the game on how I record, how I do stacks and stuff like that. Cause I don't think that, it's worth gatekeeping and stuff like that. Maybe I should help people who are trying to record music and stuff like that. But, since like we last spoke 2 years ago, I guess I put out a couple records. I put out, Broadway Freestyle, which was dope. It's one of my favorite joints.
That one's awesome.
Appreciate that. I put out Rose in Chicago, reworked Trouble with the Plan, put out the music video for Trouble with the Plan, Rose in Chicago, and then obviously did this. The latest thing I did earlier this year was the DLP Back to the Ville joint, the freestyle joint with DJ Premier, which was crazy how that even came about. But yeah, so I haven't, released too much music in the time that we filmed last. I did finish my project, Welcome to the Show. Right after here, I'm going to do some mastering on it. Really all I got left. I have all the songs recorded. Might be a few touch-ups and stuff like that. Just little things throughout the songs. Then I got most of the order done, but it's a big thing for me, like sequencing and stuff like that. So I have like an intro that's just an intro. It's like 30 seconds long. You know, I have a couple little skits and stuff like that within the album, more that I want to add, sound effects, maybe some ad libs, transitions, slowing the beat down before, after, you know, songs and stuff like that, just to make it flow more simultaneously and stuff like that. That's like a big part of the art for me, and I feel like that's kind of almost like a lost art nowadays, is people like really trying to make like a project that flows, you know, and not just like putting out an EP or just putting out a bunch of just songs that don't, you know, have any correlation together and stuff like that. So that's a big thing for me. When it'll come out, I'm still not sure. Definitely working on getting singles out for it. Been having lots of talks and meetings behind the scenes and stuff like that, but yeah,
more to come. Absolutely.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So right now, Trouble with the Plan's out as a single. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And then D Rose.
Yeah, Rose in Chicago. So I dropped Trouble with the Plan with the video last April, I believe, which is crazy. That was like the first music video I dropped in a very long time, and that was kind of when, all the Premiere love started coming and posting it on Twitter and stuff like that, kind of being, I guess, put on the map. Huntsville, Alabama artist and stuff like that, which was really cool. And that's actually the hoodie I'm wearing right now.
Yes.
So also, you know, I've been working on merchandise and stuff like that. The hat I'm wearing right now is a mock-up. Sorry, I was messing with the mic.
It's okay.
Little mock-up and stuff like that. So trying to get everything ready, you know, for this project and stuff like that. But yeah, did Trouble with the Plan, and then put out Rose in Chicago, I believe, in like July or August. And then shot the music video with the North Alabama War Dogs. Shout out to Holloways and CO for setting that up. It was just kind of like an idea that, you know, he had hit me with, like, hey, this Rose in Chicago song is really cool. How about getting our basketball team? We have like a local professional ABA team. And so got them in the video and stuff like that. So that worked out great. And then
that's amazing.
Yeah, and then went to New York and you know, I guess finishing out your question of like releases and stuff like that. I went up to New York and
you were on a radio. You were on Shade 45, right?
Yeah.
Yes, that was probably
that was in New York.
Man. Yeah. So, man, last year was crazy. So after Rose in Chicago, I knew I was going to go back up to New York, get some more work in with Preem and stuff like that. So while I was up there, Gary, shout out Fat Gary, my manager, he hit up Static and, you know, was telling him about what I got going on. He said, oh, where are you working with Premiere? All right, word. Let's, you know, get him on the show while he's up here. So got to meet Rome Streets, which is a huge inspiration for me. So that was really cool. And got to go on live on air on Shade 45, show off radio, and yeah, do the freestyle and do a little interview, shout out Huntsville and stuff like that. So that was a cool, super cool moment. First time on radio or anything like that. So
that's incredible. How did that opportunity come about? Like even the Premiere connection, how did that work?
Man, it's bizarre. It's power of the internet. I mean, honestly, like you know, through two people, got to Gary, and then, you know, through Gary, it was actually Trouble with the Plan, the way that I got to Premiere. And this was sometime during 2021, because I shot the music video in 2021, right when I had signed my original management contract up in New York. We went down to Philadelphia and shot the music video downtown Philadelphia and stuff like that. And so we were holding on to it, waiting until we got a little bit more motion, a little bit more, you know, pieces put together. And then just kind of teasing it. Gary had put it on his Instagram, and he knows Premiere personally and Static and lots of other people. But he didn't even send it to him. He just posted it. And both Pete Rock and Premiere both reached out like, yo, who is this kid? I'd love this. So that's really how that started. And then we've, you know, had a great relationship since then. He's almost been like a mentor to me. So
right.
Really awesome. Appreciated. Yeah.
I love how the networking all comes together, and really that kind of enforces how much you really need to build your network and all the people that you need to connect with. I want to get into more of the people maybe you've been connecting with locally, but going back to what you said earlier, I think is a huge thing. What I always try to pull out of the guests that come on the show is, if you're speaking directly to the people watching, let's say one of them wants to get into recording, wants to start making beats, wants to be in like your shoes. What is some game that you could maybe, or resources you could maybe tell them about that could help them get started like you did?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'd say my first thing is be delusional. I like, honestly, like, you gotta be.
Dylan is the most delusional.
This is amazing.
Man.
But I mean,
So is the girl.
You
That's the
have
perfect thing
to,
to say.
to a certain degree, you have to believe in yourself like 100%. And like when I first started making music and 15 in high school and stuff, my shit was terrible. But at the same time, like I had so much confidence behind it that like people, small percentage, but people had no other choice but to respect it and be like, well, he's doing something he likes doing. And then kept going. I mean, I worked my ass off. This is like my 8th year, 9th year, 8th, 9th year doing it, and I'm just starting to see benefits and stuff like that. Consistency, at least try to do something every day to benefit it. It depends, what lane you want to go in. I'm not somebody who, even though my company is Power of the Internet, I'm not somebody who's been a giant content creator. I think that I just was able to get ahead enough where I am not going to necessarily have to be a content creator. But if you're just starting out, you almost have to. Unless you can find the connections and stuff like that. And it depends where you live too. I mean, if you live in a smaller town, I would definitely try to, start traveling to bigger cities and just go to shows, just go to meet people, go to studios, like, save some money. If you're somewhere in the South, but you don't have anything in your city, go to Atlanta, go, rent out a studio for an hour or two just to get like an idea of, how it runs and how an engineer is supposed to be. Always tap in locally as well, simultaneously, but at least you'll have some kind of knowledge of how it's supposed to be and how it's supposed to sound. And then, I mean, just try to reach out to anybody you can locally that can help you if you're just starting. Really focus on, your brand and what your niche is and what like your staple sound is. I think that's really the most important thing nowadays, more than anything, more than lyrics or even the message or the substance of the record, is just like for instance, like Yeet or Ken Carson or Ian coming out, or any of these like newer age and the new kind of style rap that's kind of taken over in the underground and stuff like that. Most of the time you don't know what they're saying, like, and then even if they are saying something, like, it's not like people aren't focused on the lyrics and stuff like that. I'm somebody like lyrics are everything to me. That's really like my main focus more than anything, is the songwriting lyrics aspect of it. But like I said, it depends what lane you want to go in. Just make sure that you can kind of create a sound that's different. Like, don't just try to be like, make the kind of music you want to hear, but don't make the kind of music that is from your favorite artist.
That's one thing that like really sets you apart. And I want to jump back to the just being in the lab part too. But some, like, a lot of the artists that we've spoken to already, like for this season, most of them are like either performers or they're just building their catalog, kind of perfecting their craft. And for you, obviously, you're doing the same thing, performing, perfecting your craft. But so much of it is in the lab, and it's in those quiet hours of figuring out how this is going to sound to that listener. And that's so important because that reflects back to like that first question about writing and recording. Is so much has been developed over time for you, but that advice for young people is perfect. It's really like, my takeaway from that is people need to start, they need to find their sound, and then start like just work.
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah, for
pretty much
sure. And
wrapping
really
up?
like work and be as creative as you can until you find that thing that sounds right and doesn't sound like necessarily anybody else. And as soon as you find that, stick to that and just hyper focus on that lane. Like, really, I mean, and share it. Don't be afraid to, honestly, like, I don't really post too much nowadays just because I have so much going on, and a lot of my moves I have to keep behind the scenes. I can't
Right.
really talk too much about it and stuff like that. But like when I first started out, I made 12 albums in high school. I didn't mix or master any of it. I just recorded dry and I just put it out. Like, and maybe it wasn't the greatest music and stuff like that, but at the same time, like,
Oh, pause.
did I just
Okay, we're good. Sorry, little technical difficulty. We're back.
not so good?
So you were saying you were just putting out your music dry and like you didn't really mix or master it. And I think that is a big thing for people. And this is kind of like a continuing kind of thing that we've seen from all these young entrepreneurs and people really making waves is just do it. Like don't try super hard. You're not going to have all this money and equipment behind you. Just start like we did with the podcast. Like it was terrible. It was fun. But now, through learning and doing, that's when you really start to, see some progress. It's like
Exactly.
day one in the gym. You're not going to be a big dude or whatever,
Right.
big like powerhouse in the gym. But now that you've been going every day for months and months and months, you can look in the mirror and be like, yo, I see that progress. And I think that's probably what you've seen.
Exactly.
And that's awesome to see that progress. But continue on what you were saying there.
Yeah, and I mean, just adding a little bit more, I think that if you want to be a musician and an artist, everybody suffers from this bug. Everybody is chasing perfection, and everybody is like for me, I've never gotten to the point where I've been like completely satisfied or anything like that. Like, yeah, there's times where I'm like, yeah, that song, that's the one, that's definitely going on the album, da 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 da. But there's always like, with music, there's always room for improvement and growth and stuff like that. And the more you do it, the more you learn. Like, I feel like I have a sound carved out, but I don't want to, me personally, I don't like sticking to it, to a certain style forever. Once I get this album out, I want to, expand and really kind of dive into a different kind of production style. And, because most of my stuff is more kind of old school boom bap esque. And
Super
man.
lyrical. Like that's another
Yeah.
thing is your style is super lyrical, and that's something you should never lose.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
I
for
think
sure.
that's the thing that makes Kendrick really,
True.
and that's the thing that makes you, and that's what brings in other higher level people to say I really believe in this kid. He's gonna make waves in this industry. So what
Appreciate that.
of course what you mentioned connects in local community. What like how did that come about for you, and what did that look like?
Man, I guess how I really got tapped in was meeting PR. And PR, I mean, PR has been one of the most important pieces in my musical and life journey, just in general. As soon as the first session I had with him, I recorded DNA and Trouble with the Plan. My first ever session, and those, end up being, staple songs in the beginning of, what my career is now. And through PR, we just had such a great relationship right off the rip. We each had respect for each other and like what we could do musically and stuff like that. And so I kind of got in with him at the right time, and he wanted to host this festival. So
Phantom Aftermath.
Phantom Fest, the first Phantom Fest, and this was 2021. So I met him after I graduated school, went to LA, came back. It's just like October, and then I recorded all of Hourglass from October till beginning of December. So right after that, he's like, "Yo, I'm throwing this festival in April. I want you to be in it." Didn't have necessarily a primetime spot or anything like that, but just having 10, 15 minutes to, have a spotlight. It wasn't like, my first show or anything like that, but definitely one of the earlier ones. And, being at the camp and running through, a couple records, I just, garnered the attention of some cool people in Huntsville and stuff like that. And then from then on, it was, getting hit up to do side tracks and stuff like that. And I just kept those relationships and kept like, earlier on, especially it's once again, shout out to Holloways and CO, who run a lot of events in Huntsville. Anytime that I saw that there was an event or anytime I heard of anything going on, I'd reach out and try to get a spot. It didn't matter about the money at first, and that's a huge thing too that, can add to like newer artists and stuff is don't worry about the money. Like, even if you're broke, like I fully believe you're going to get repaid if you really put that work in, whatever you believe in, like, it comes back, especially, if you do the right thing. Don't burn bridges and you benefit other people as well. It'll come back. So yeah, that's really kind of how I got tapped in. And the more shows I did, the more people I met and, relationships and conversations and, I just kind of built it from there.
That makes sense. So find somebody high level in your area and then get close to them.
Yes. And honestly, I feel, granted, I have no other experience in like a different kind of city or what any of y'all might be experiencing or anything like that, but go if there's a local studio, even if it's home studios, PR's studios, home studio, just in his bedroom, closet, booth, and everything like that. Find somebody that is tapped in, and luckily he was tapped in and knew some people. Like, even if it's just, I know this one guy who makes beats. Okay, go and meet the guy who makes beats because I'm sure he knows artists that he's sending his beats to. Okay, so then he tells you about these artists. Then you're gonna go meet these artists. Hey, do you guys ever do shows? Da, da, da. Oh yeah, we got a show here. Da 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 da. Then you find where the shows are happening. And then when you go to the shows, it's okay. So who's in charge? Who's running it? Okay, I see those people. Introduce yourself. Maybe not the first time. Maybe the second or third time. They'll let if you show them some music, you can build that relationship. Have conversations outside of music. Just be cool. They might throw you a bone and be like, hey, well, you want to do this show, and then grow from there.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about because I've gone to a lot of professional events, networking events for cybersecurity, and that is the biggest thing. Is a lot of these people, they love they're adults, they're grown people. They love having some drinks, getting a little turn up, and just like shooting the shit, because all these conversations are not just about, what did you do in cybersecurity today?
Right.
Oh my God, we did this, blah, blah, blah. Like you have like organic actual conversations and make like meaningful connections with people.
Yep.
That go beyond the lines of just whatever event or topic that you're there together supporting. I think that is pretty, like, for me, and I mean, Henry just said it, I think for me, that would be also some advice I could give to younger people or people getting into like networking or might be afraid, is like, they're just humans too. Like, I have a handful of mentors now that like I'll go and meet up with for lunch or have a meeting with, and we literally just talk about like our lives, like all the things going on. Like, it's not about, what are you doing at work? Can I come and help on this project? And what are the numbers and data? Blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, we're talking about, he just built a new house. How's the house going? How's the kids? Whatever. Yeah. And I think that is super important.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, one of my perspectives is like, you have to have that connection before there can be business, follow
That's where business comes from.
Yeah, exactly.
People want to do business with the people they like and know.
Right, exactly. So like with Premiere, because he's based in New York, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that was connect with Gary, but how did you meet Gary?
Man, so I mean,
This is like probably 3 years
right
ago,
here.
right?
yeah, it's bizarre, and it's crazy how
Drama.
how quick time has been and stuff. This is like my 4th year of my contract. Well, I mean, it got reset, so pretty much, I made a song 2020. I was going to school up in Nashville, going to school for mixing and recording and stuff like that at Blackbird Academy, and I made this song about all the stuff that was going on, like all the riots and everything like that. And my pops had sent this record over to somebody he had worked with years ago, somebody he knew. Just like, hey, check out this record. My kid makes music. I thought maybe you'd enjoy it. He thought it was cool. He showed his wife. His wife thought it was cool. Showed her sister, who had worked in radio 20 years ago. She hadn't been in the music industry for a long time, but she knew some people, still had some connections. So, and I didn't even know it went that far. I just knew that my dad had, sent it to somebody. So they hit me up randomly. I get a call, and it's the wife and the sister, and they're telling me all sorts of stuff. They really like my music. They want me to send more music, blah, 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 blah. So I sent more music, and then we started building this relationship where, they believed in me 100%, and they wanted to, exhaust their resources and their time to help me and, be successful and stuff like that. So when I graduated school, I had an internship offer in California, really nice studio, the Cloud Factory. I can never remember the name. It was the Cloud Factory, legendary studio. Like
In Cali?
yeah, in Los Angeles. So went, and it wasn't gonna work just because it's unpaid internship, which is you can't do
it's
in
an unpaid
California,
internship,
especially working like a studio intern. I mean, you're working 12 plus, and you're just doing all the hard work, doing runner stuff and assisting and all sorts of stuff like that. But then on top of that, I'd have no time for myself, and I know that I want to be an artist. I don't want to just record other people,
Right.
So then I decided after that, I was like, well, I got to double down like on my music. I know I have some people who say that, they know what they're doing and they want to help me. So I got to double down. And so I made Hourglass, which is the best music I had made at the time. And, I wanted to just put it out. I didn't have any management deal or anything like that, but we put it out. They were trying to figure out how they would work it. And then they started consulting with somebody, and they were paying a lot of money an hour to consult with who would end up being Fat Gary. And after about 2 sessions, he was like, yo, I love this kid. Like, he wanted to steal me. He's like, hey, let's do a 3-way management deal with him. And the girls didn't necessarily know how to manage, so I can't really give them any fault. But after a while, just kind of me and Gary's relationship just kind of grew more than anything, and we saw eye to eye and kind of had the same vision for what I wanted and what I wanted to get out of the whole thing. So yeah, it just kind of went from there, and then got to premiere, and yeah,
That's incredible.
crazy. Yeah, it's just, you never know. I mean, that's another point of like sharing your music and stuff, even if it's not like crisp, like when the time is ready, take your time and perfect your craft and stuff like that. But when you're getting on early on, just put it out there, man. You never know. I would have never thought that that's how I would get to here. It's bizarre.
That's wild. Yeah, super cool.
Crazy. And the farther I progress, I would love to keep informing people about how this shit actually works and stuff like that. But clearing samples and doing splits and stuff like that is the ugly part of it. It's the business part of it. It's exciting, but it can also take a lot of time. I've been waiting to put out records and stuff like that. That's why it's been so long. But looks like getting close to inking with a really cool label. It's kind of like a full circle moment. I won't necessarily say it, but yeah, so
that's amazing.
Pretty
We're
cool.
so proud of you, man.
Yeah, we're happy
I mean,
for you.
in the last
Hell yeah.
couple years, I mean, since the first conversation on the podcast, you've done so much. And I mean, do you ever just look back and just say, wow? Like reflecting on how far you've come?
I try to be as gracious, I guess, and like
But at the same time, you're probably like, duh, I was expecting this like a year ago.
It's not necessarily that. It's more of like, well, I'm still not to where like I feel like I'm comfortable. And that's a scary thing though, because, you know, I have to like remind myself to appreciate it because, you know, and Gary's always trying to tell me this, the success is the process, and that's what you have to enjoy because, you know, and it's always a struggle for me, and I feel like this is also just like an artist thing, but we're so focused on this end goal that we've made up, and eventually when we get to that end goal, we're going to go, okay, but I'm not there yet. You don't even realize that you're where you wanted to go because by the time you get there, you're already, you know, light years ahead on your next goal and stuff like that. So really try to smell the roses and appreciate it. Yes, I do. Like, it pops into my head every once in a while, like, damn, I really went on Shade 45 and da-da-da-da. Damn, I really got these, you know, records with so-and-so and so-and-so and stuff like that. But, you know, I'm just so hungry, man. So it's like, it's hard to not,
it's hard to stop.
Well,
Smell the
roses.
roses.
The right things,
for sure.
because that is another. I think I don't know if we talked about it in the previous episode, but another reoccurring topic that I see from young business professionals and artists is that everybody has a like end all be all goal. Like you might not even know like what that is, but it's like maybe it's like, oh, when I'm a millionaire, I'll feel better or I'll feel successful or whatever. But when you get there, you're gonna want more. You're not gonna be satisfied probably. So it's like we've had this conversation over and over and over and over and over again, and it's like it's still sinking in even for me is to enjoy the process, enjoy the grind, enjoy the journey, and then like because that is it. Like I'm enjoying doing these podcasts. It'd be great if we made a bunch of money from these podcasts and we had on, you know, crazy guests, and you know we got to go and be in like crazy studios and everything. Shout out Scott McLean for letting for letting us use his office.
I mean,
spot.
He's really helping this dream that you're speaking about come to reality.
And we appreciate all the bones that we've been thrown. And
absolutely. And just to add to the end of that, there's this quote by Virgil, and it's pretty much like,
peace.
Yeah, R.I.P. Virgil. Essentially, it's pretty. I can't remember the exact quote, but look back sometimes at stuff and think about how geeked and stoked you'd be if you were a kid looking at being in the position that you're in. And that really helps. Like if I go back in time and I'm like, man, my 15-year-old self would be freaking out. Like, wow, I was on Shade 45. Whoa, I'm working with DJ Premier. Whoa, I'm working with my favorite artists, producers, you know, etc. Like, and that's a really good way to look at it. Is really like, you know, doing stuff that would make, you know, your younger self, your kid self stoked.
Yeah. Brother, you're doing all the right things for real. And this is big. Like all the moves that you've been making are monstrous, and the moves that are upcoming are even bigger. So like keep that true belief, because that's going to take you far, and it already clearly has taken you super far. And you know, we've spoken off camera about many other new initiatives and different ways we're coming together, and super excited for everybody else to hear about that.
Shout out to Trippy Cases.
Yes,
yes, sir.
Hey, for real, y'all go support Trippy Cases. It mean the world to me. Y'all support Power of the Internet merge. Support Henri. Go look him up on Spotify. We'll have everything linked below. Check out Dylan, what he's got going on.
And Sean and Annabelle.
Everybody, we all doing stuff. We want y'all to be doing stuff too. That's why we make these podcasts, to inspire you to live your dreams. Because we don't know what we're doing. We're just making something happen. We're just doing. We're having fun, balling out, trying to ball out. But as we finish up here, is there anything y'all want to say to the people?
Look in the mirror and smile today.
That's perfect.
Appreciate yourself and slow down. try to be as patient and gracious as possible. Appreciate the things that you have around you and the people that you have around you. Stay motivated and hustled. Surround yourself with some love, and keep working.
That's the advice everybody needs to hear. Everyone. And y'all make sure to listen. This guy is not spitting, game for nothing. Like, we want to see some results come from the people we inspire and the things that we're doing here. That's why we do it. So thank you very much for coming on again. We really appreciate this conversation.
Yeah, appreciate y'all having me, man.
Super.
Real G's moving silence like lasagna.
Throw it back. Gotta throw it back.
Yeah, we'll have to, click back up on season 4.
Absolutely.
We'll run it back.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys for tuning in, and catch Henry on everything down below, and we'll see y'all next time.
Peace.
Peace.
Support Trippy Cases.
Yes, sir.